Hey guys, and welcome back to my series on the steps to buying a home. Last week we talked about the inspection process, and once we're through that, we're on to the appraisal. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Remember, appraisals only happen if you're financing your purchase. So if you are buying in cash, then skip through this video because it doesn't apply. But if you are using any financing whatsoever, which is how most people buy their homes, then you will have an appraisal. So the appraisal is scheduled by the lender. It goes into like a request, and then the appraisers come in and they pick and choose. So the lender, it used to be prior to, the crash, that lenders had a much closer relationship to appraisers, but then they found that there was some fraudulent activity. And so now that lenders basically can have no contact with the appraisers. As the agent, I can call them, ask them questions, provide additional documentation, but the lenders are kind of arm's length away. So an appraiser is trained, they're licensed, and they come into the home. It is scheduled with the list agent, so you as the buyer may not know when this occurs, but you will get the report, and you own the report. It costs usually around $500, depending on your lender. They may cover this cost, or it may be what rolled into your closing costs, or it may be something that you pay up front. The appraiser comes in to the home. They're usually there 20-30 minutes. It doesn't take long. They measure the home and they take pictures. They then go back to their office or whatnot. They pull all the tax data, all that information a good agent should have provided you when you put in the offer, and they pull comparable closed properties. So properties that have sold already in the recent past that are similar to your property. And based off of that information, they're calculating the value. And remember, that information is valuable to the lender because it's a measure of the risk of what they're lending you to purchase the property. So 9 times out of 10, there is no problem. And it just happens. And then you as the buyer get the report that says, yes, it's worth this. Go ahead, we're moving forward. Unfortunately, when you are in a high appreciation market like we've been in for the past couple of years, sometimes there can be some conflict here. So for example, I know of a property that went on the market this week. They had an open house Saturday and Sunday of this week. They had 45 buyers show up at the first open house and more than 25 at the second open house. They are in hand of 20 plus offers. We've talked about all those ways that you differentiate yourself and what is included on an offer, but price is king. So oftentimes people will be offering over asking or well over to compete with other sellers, and that can become a problem if the appraisal comes in low and your lender is not willing to lend you that money. So if you have additional cash, you can bring that to the table yourself, but it can sometimes be a problem. So once you're through the appraisal, that is kind of the last sticking point generally, and you're on to your final financing deadline and closing. So stay tuned next week so I can tell you a little bit about the closing process. I look forward to seeing you guys, and don't forget, dream big.